Babylon's shadow, celestial balance, cosmic betrayal, cosmic chaos, underworld rising, divine wrath, eternal conflict, giants awaken, infernal might, shadowed thrones.
In Chapter 14, The Fall of Babylon, the city of Babylon is under siege by the Persian Empire, led by Cyrus the Great. The once mighty city, known for its imposing walls and legendary defenses, faces an unprecedented threat. General Nabonidus, the city's defender, stands firm, determined to protect Babylon against the relentless Persian forces. Despite the city's strategic advantages, such as the Euphrates River and towering walls, the Persians, with their advanced siege tactics and vast numbers, threaten to overwhelm the defenders. As the battle begins, Nabonidus's generals, including Belshazzar, prepare their defenses, but they remain wary of the Persian strategy. Cyrus, a seasoned conqueror, devises a plan to exploit Babylon's reliance on its river. His general, Gobryas, suggests diverting the Euphrates to create an opening in Babylon's walls, an audacious move that could catch the Babylonians off guard. The plan is put into motion, and when the river's flow is redirected, the Persians are able to breach the city through its canals, sparking a brutal battle. Inside Babylon, Nabonidus and his generals rally their forces to repel the invaders, but the Persians' disciplined army gradually overwhelms the defenders. Despite the valiant efforts of Nabonidus and his men, the Persians continue their relentless advance. In a pivotal moment, Nabonidus confronts the Persian general Harpagus in a fierce duel, but Harpagus proves superior, disarming Nabonidus. Just as Harpagus prepares to deliver a fatal blow, Belshazzar intervenes, and Nabonidus manages to strike down Harpagus. However, the battle continues to turn in favor of the Persians. Cyrus leads the final assault, and the Babylonians, exhausted and outnumbered, are forced to retreat to the inner city. Despite their last stand, the Persians eventually breach the inner walls, bringing Babylon to its knees. Nabonidus, unable to stop the inevitable fall of his city, struggles with despair and regret as he leads the remaining defenders in a futile defense. As the city falls, Nabonidus flees across the desolate steppe, haunted by the loss of Babylon and the lives lost in the battle. His escape, pursued by the relentless Persian forces, marks the tragic end of an era. The fall of Babylon signifies the triumph of the Persian Empire and the beginning of a new chapter in history, with Cyrus the Great solidifying his dominance over the ancient world. Nabonidus and his companions, now joined by Ira, found themselves in a moment of despair, but also a glimmer of hope. As the Persian cavalry closed in, Nabonidus feared the worst for both himself and the fate of Babylon. But then, from the horizon emerged a dark figure, an unknown warrior clad in black, riding with an unnatural speed on a black horse. The figure, with a sword that gleamed with cold light, charged into the Persian ranks with ferocity, cutting down soldiers with a terrifying skill. This lone rider, Ira, began his attack with wild swings that seemed untrained, yet carried an incredible force. He fought relentlessly, even as arrows pierced his body. Despite the pain, Ira's spirit did not falter, and he continued to fight, bringing down the Persian cavalry with precision and raw strength. His resilience in the face of overwhelming odds was extraordinary. Yet despite his extraordinary strength, the Persians began to overpower him, and Ira fell to the ground, seemingly dead, his body trampled by the enemy. Just as hope seemed lost, a supernatural event unfolded. Smoke rose from Ira's fallen body, and he reappeared, miraculously healed, his wounds gone, his eyes burning with an otherworldly light. With renewed strength, he mounted his horse and attacked the Persians with even greater power, cutting through their ranks with brutal efficiency. The Persians, once confident in their victory, were now thrown into chaos, unable to withstand Ira's wrath. Nabonidus watched in awe as the young man fought, his body seemingly a vessel of destruction, slaying hundreds of Persian soldiers in mere moments. The Persians, terror-stricken, tried to flee, but Ira pursued them with relentless determination, leaving no survivors in his wake. After the battle, Nabonidus approached Ira, Still stunned by the display of power he had witnessed, he asked the young man his name, and Ira, calm but enigmatic, revealed himself as a citizen of Babylon. However, Nabonidus soon realized that Ira was not a mere citizen. His connection to Babylon ran deeper than any of them could comprehend. Ira revealed that he had been forged in the flames of Babylon's fall, a product of its despair and destruction. Despite his mysterious nature, he was resolute in his mission to protect Babylon and its people from the Persians, even when their defeat seemed inevitable. As Nabonidus and Ira spoke, it became clear that the fight was not over. Ira's unwavering determination sparked a renewed sense of hope in Nabonidus, and together they began to rally what remained of their forces, preparing for a counterattack against the Persians. With nightfall, Ira led the small, disorganized group of survivors toward the Persian encampment. They moved stealthily, their spirits lifted by Ira's unbreakable resolve. As they approached, Ira outlined his plan to strike from the flanks, catching the Persians off guard. Despite the overwhelming odds, the men, inspired by Ira's leadership, were ready to fight, and their rallying cry echoed into the night. Nabonidus, now fully committed to the cause, prepared to follow Ira into the heart of battle. The stakes had never been higher, but with Ira at the helm, there was a glimmer of hope that Babylon might rise again from the ashes of its destruction. In this vivid continuation of the epic saga, Ira, a warrior transformed by vengeance and power, leads a surprise attack against the Persian forces that have laid siege to Babylon. Riding his black horse, Ira charges into the heart of the Persian camp with a cry that reverberates through the night. The Babylonians follow, their battle cries joining the fray, overwhelming the disoriented Persian soldiers. Ira, wielding a sword infused with a supernatural cold, cuts through the Persian ranks with ruthless precision. His movements are described as both ethereal and devastating, as his sword freezes the blood of his enemies and saps their strength, turning their weapons into useless lumps of ice. The cold emanating from Ira's blade is not merely a physical chill, but a force that strikes terror into the hearts of his foes. The very air seems to freeze, creating a landscape of ice and death around him. The Persian army, despite their numbers and training, falters before this relentless assault. Cyrus the Great, witnessing this catastrophic turn of events, is struck by the realization that Ira is not an ordinary man, but something far more powerful. His generals urge him to retreat, and despite Cyrus's initial resistance, he reluctantly orders a withdrawal. However, Ira, relentless and merciless, pursues the retreating soldiers, turning the Persian retreat into a rout as they flee in terror from the icy wrath he brings with him. As the battle concludes and the last of the Persian forces retreat, the battlefield is left in a chilling silence, the ground littered with frozen corpses and the scent of blood hanging heavy in the air. Ira stands at the center, physically exhausted but resolute, his sword still in hand, the power within him slowly ebbing. Nabonidus, the Babylonian ruler, approaches Ira, acknowledging his victory and the immense toll it has taken on him. Ira, however, does not see himself as a hero. Despite being hailed as a savior, he feels the deep, unyielding cold within him, a force that has consumed his humanity. He acknowledges that while the victory is significant, the war is not over, and the Persians will return. Nabonidus, recognizing Ira's newfound role as Babylon's protector, appoints him as the general of the city's defenses. Ira accepts the role, and under his leadership, Babylon's fortifications are rebuilt, and the people begin to find hope once more. However, Ira remains distant, a figure of coldness and shadow. The power that once saved him now feels like a curse, consuming him from the inside. As he prepares for the inevitable return of the Persians, he is haunted by the fear that the cold within him will ultimately erase all that he once was. Though Babylon has been saved for now, the looming threat of Cyrus's return hangs over Ira. He stands at the city's walls, watching the horizon where new storms gather, fully aware that the cost of this victory is far from paid. As the winds carry the chill of winter through the city, Ira prepares for the next battle, knowing that each victory brings him closer to losing himself entirely.